Well, a big moment for Jamie Smith. His first Test match innings, and it's at the home of cricket. He kept tidily yesterday, but really he's been selected for his batting. And he comes in an interesting period. England's lead is good. It's 133. They are now 5 down. Smith has been selected to play his natural way, which is to be aggressive. Very good career stats so far in first-class cricket. And he's not facing at the moment. He's at the non-strikers end.
Yeah, good numbers in first-class cricket, and importantly good numbers this year. He's been in very good form for Surrey in the Championship, so he comes into his debut game full of confidence. And I think the way that he kept yesterday was important. He didn't have much to do, but what he did efficiently and did well, and therefore that also will give him a bit of reassurance as he walks to the middle now. That's his form in this year's County Championship.
Tucked away leg side from Root in his elegant way. Simple way for a couple. So the 5th wicket was out of England's Test captain Ben Stokes. That little bit of drift from Motie right into that foot mark. And it had enough on it, as Michael Afton said, to take the middle stump out of the ground. Took a piece out of the pitch, out of the foothole. Not quite sure where Ben Stokes was trying to hit that, but nonetheless, that was a beautifully flighted delivery.
No! Yeah, it was a positive selection by West Indies, actually. They had a choice between Motie and Sinclair. Sinclair is probably the stronger batter, but Motie, who can bat as well, but is a better bowler, so they went for the better bowling option, which I think is the right call and the positive call. You've got to trust your batters to get enough runs in the first place. And he's a very useful left-arm spinner.
It's away for runs. We'll wait from the signal from the umpire, and it is off the bat of Joe Root.
Interesting trajectory, Jason Holder. The ball almost kind of loops down. He's not as quick as some of the others. The others, like Alzari Joseph, Shamar Joseph, are 85 miles an hour and upwards. Holder's 80 or just below, and the trajectory of the ball slightly loops down. You get the sense that when he bowls that Yorker, sometimes the batters don't quite pick it up. Of course, he's a tall man as well, so it may just come over the sight screen, which is quite a low sight screen here at Lord's. Remember one of his predecessors here, Courtney Walsh, who used to bowl at this end when the sight screens were less good. And a couple of times he would bowl a slower ball that looped down. Certainly on one occasion, Graham Thorpe completely lost sight of it. Did he hit this? Was it pad? Pad, I think. I tell you what, if it's pad, it's not that far away either.
No, but Holder, as we saw yesterday, is bowling so wide of the crease. That angle is taking it leg side all the time. 260 for 5. Well, given us 4 runs, I think that's perhaps what the conversation about between Holder and the on-field umpire Rod Tucker. Anyway, been given 4, and Root moves to 56. So Jamie Smith is about to face his first delivery in Test match cricket, and it's going to come via Motie, the left-arm spinner, who has started really nicely today. That wonderful delivery to get rid of Ben Stokes. Not much for him to work with, though, outside the right-handers off stump. What he does have is the slope. So a big moment for Smith.
Oh yes, Motes, good start, Motes. Start good occasion. Oi, well bowled, Motie. Well bowled, Mot.
Quickly have a look at this. I think that might have missed the bat just.
Oh! Ball, Mot. Really good, Mot. Really good, buddy.
What about your LBW
Good,
shout,
good,
Mark
boys.
Clatham? You said it was close.
Oi, Mot, boy.
Nice from Motie.
Yes, Mot. Yes, Mot. Work here, boys. Oh, yes, good Akish, boy. Really good, Mot.
And he'll be itching to get off the mark. Back of his mind, can I work that through mid-wicket, past short leg?
Oh, yes, well bowled.
260 for 5. Nasser.
Well, a good day for a Surrey debutant yesterday, and another one in the middle. What's his history? He comes from Sutton Cricket Club. He went there age 6 for a training camp, and he's played ever since. Another one from the Whitgift school line of England cricketers, and also he's been with Surrey since under 9, sometimes playing 5 years ahead of himself in schoolboy cricket. And yesterday, or a couple of days ago, Surrey sent out this lovely tweet. This was him as a young boy, and this is him now. And it is very similar. All his mannerisms, all the coaching that he would have done, all the way through the ranks from under 9 Surrey, Sutton Cricket Club and Whitgift School. Surrey saying that they produced a young un, they produced a good un, as they often do, and as we've already seen in this game.
It's lovely footage, isn't it? Fantastic. Oi, that's a beauty from Holder. Root was advancing. And that's just that extra bounce that you get when you're that tall.
Yeah, and it just held up the hill as well. The natural thing from the end that Holder is bowling from, the pavilion end, is to run it back down the hill and into the right-hander. This one not only just bounced, but nipped away as well off the seam. A surprise route.
Not many deliveries in this game so far from the seamers. I've seen the keeper take it above waist high, and that certainly was one of them. Misfield allows Root to come back for a second.
Yeah, I spoke to Jamie Smith yesterday, actually, before his debut. We had a chat with him for 5 minutes, just chatting about how useful and valuable it is to have so many Surrey players who play for England. Not only in this team, he's got a few Surrey teammates around him, so he feels comfortable. But at the Oval at the moment, they've probably got about 14 or 15 players that have played international cricket. So they all come back with tales of how it is at the highest level and pass on that knowledge and experience. Remember when I made my debut, for example, at Lancashire, we just didn't have many players at Old Trafford then who played for England. Neil Fairbrother had played a couple of games a few years before. Paul Allott and Graham Fowler had played a little bit, but it was quite a rare thing to have Lancashire players in the England team at that stage. Whereas for Jamie Smith and Surrey, it just must be part of the natural conversation.
I think that's a very valid point. You look around the dressing room and you see your peers, people you've grown up with, doing well for England and playing for England, representing their country. It's got to inspire you as well. Well, if they can do it, why can't I?
Yeah, 14 players confirmed at the Oval on the professional staff there that have represented England. Remarkable.
Into swing, 262 for 5. There has been conversations about the tempo that Joe Root has played with at times. Expand his game, the image of what Stokes and McCullum want to create. Do you think he's just taken a step back a little bit? Played beautifully here, absolutely not a criticism at all. It's just how he plays throughout his career.
Well, he always scores quickly enough. He's not a stodgy player at all, Joe Root. He's a very, mentioned the rhythm with which he plays, but he's a free scorer as well. He's striking at 60 here per 100 balls, which is pretty sharp by Test match standards. He went through that phase where he's trying to buy into the Bazball philosophy, and I admire that. He's looking to try and expand his game and take it on. But if you talk about Root at his best and the natural way that he plays.
Well, that's a bit of a gift for Jamie Smith to score his first Test runs, and it's a boundary.
I think Motie saw him coming here. Smith was on the charge or advancing, and therefore he dragged his length back, but rather too far. And in the end, it was a filthy half-tracker.
So Smith is off and running.
Oh yes, Motie boy. Really good, Mot. Working, Mot. Come on, there, boys. Oh!
Oh, watch that. Not sure if that stayed down or just skidded on. It might have hit the leather as opposed to the seam. Be slightly careful on this pitch if you're playing back.
Oh, right there.
Slightly tempted here, if I was Motie, to get a silly point in as well. Just completely surround Smith. Take the extra cover out, see if he wants to have a big drive. He's keen to use his feet. .266 for 5. Very different conditions yesterday when West Indies were bowled out for 121. That's taking nothing away from Gus Atkinson's performance. Sensational debut for him. Indians lead at the start of the day was 68. It's now 145, but they've lost a couple of wickets. That of Harry Brook and Ben Stokes. Quick single, and Smith is quick enough.
Just that ball, and then when they ran a 2 to the misfield, there was just a little miscommunication between Root and Smith. They won't have batted together very much, of course, if at all. Sometimes when you get a new player in, it just takes a little while to become accustomed to their habits at the crease.
Well, it'll be a very different field now for Jamie Smith, who's going to face seam in Test match cricket for the first time. The offside field has been strengthened. 2 slips, a gully. Using his feet, much as Root did. before the nerves go in your first innings, when you just start watching the ball as you would in a county
quickly,
game.
I reckon. I mean, obviously, as you're walking through the long room, the heart will be pounding a little bit, butterflies in the tummy. The moment I think you face your first ball, get your first run out the way, you just forget about all that.
Well, it's what you expect from Jason Holder. Very accurate challenge that Smith and Root will have faced with Holder, is the angle of the slope. You feel like the ball will come back into you, but as we've seen, he's found enough movement to move it up the hill. And it's a potentially potent combination. Half an hour or so away from proper lunch. Again, Smith advances 267 for 5.
First session of day 2, Ruth Strauss Day, and there would have been a little bit of nerves around for West Indian fans with the sun out, a wonderful seeing day. 2 batters with a start at the start of the day, but a couple of quick wickets have brought them back into play. Brook first and then Stokes.
Well bowled, Motie.
Stokes done by an absolute beauty from Motie, who continues to work from the nursery end.
Oi, well bowled, Motie.
We had the sense at the start of the day that he was going to play an important role today, the spinner for the West Indies. He's found some space here. Here's Joe Root, as he has done right from ball 1 this morning, Kumar.
Yeah, I love watching Joe Root bat. Just his tempo, his rhythm. He never looks out of sync. He never looks flustered or hurried. Every single shot, head, shoulder, hands, feet, bat, everything seems to be in the right place.
Sweeps fine. There's far too much work to be done as Root picks up the boundary.
Yeah, and even if he doesn't look as powerful in his game as the rest of the English batting lineup, he just scores at a very quick rate. He's got shots all around, and he's excellent against spin. Great wrists, good reading of length, uses the depth of the crease. And great lessons for any young batter watching how to play spin.
It's been a nice chat about tempo. You've just mentioned that, as we see that Joe Root's average has now hit the even 50 mark. .274 for 5. Talking about tempo and how easy Joe Root makes it look out in the middle. Is that something that comes innately to him, and you've seen, you know, right from probably coming through pathways, that he's just sort of been in control of body language, mannerisms, his balance, or is that something you can teach someone?
You can talk about it, have conversations, but you got to realize it yourself. And I was building actually a little third man piece on this as well, but I could preempt it by talking about it, Mel. When you talk about tempo and rhythm and being in sync with the ball, and Nas touched on it yesterday as well, it's really being in sync with what's happening on the day, and each day is different, whether you're coming into a game with runs, so from session to session even. And Joe Root has this innate ability to fall into that rhythm really quickly.
The holder likes it, but that tall frame of his, I think, means that height was going to be an issue.
Yeah, too high, perhaps a little inside edge, maybe. And when you watch Pope bat and Brook bat, there are times when they look in rhythm. There are times when they look out of rhythm because they are trying to force the pace. Big inside edge there. And when you're trying to force something with just your hands and you have almost that premeditation of I want to hit this for a boundary, you do fall out of rhythm. Whereas Root, he hardly misses anything on the leg side. His bat speed, his control of the hands, where his foot ends up, how his head goes to the ball, all is dependent if they have a different trigger as he would have against as opposed to other batters. And that's the real key, to do sometimes what the ball's telling you to do. And once you have that foundation, then you can up the ante in terms of acceleration throughout your innings. And that's why Joe Root never looks flustered in any conditions.
One of the reasons why he's now ticked over 11,800 runs in this format. We spoke a little bit about it yesterday, about the ability of picking up cues as much as early as you can, and then processing that. And the quicker you can do that, it just gives you that little bit more extra time, doesn't it?
It does. And the key is not to fight what's happening on the day, but to understand it. So sometimes you can score 100 and come back into perhaps the same pitch, same opposition. But if you're not in sync on the day, Mel, what will happen is you'll think, oh, that ball I drove the previous innings, so I'm going to try and drive it again. You're not really, your body's not functioning as well. You haven't, put in the time to get into rhythm, and you'll force it. And that's when you get out or you fall into trouble. So it's really crucial that you try and start every innings as a new kind of day, a new experience, and really understand how that happens. Picking up cues, like you said, and you talk about the grip of the bowler, which side the shine's on, how the pitch is playing. All of that is really crucial to get a slightly advanced idea of what might happen. One of the issues in England is the seam movement, because you can read the swing, and with the scrambled seam, all the way Jimmy Anderson sometimes places the seam with the shine on the opposing side, can actually draw you into things that are counterproductive. But again, that's how, as a batter, with more experience, you build that into your game to be more successful.
Little drop and run. He'll keep the strike, will Jamie Smith. 276 for 5. Wonderful crowd, as there was yesterday. And a lovely tinge of red. Smith showing some good footwork back and forward of the crease as well. I think one of the other things, Kumar, just following on that conversation about rhythm, is that ability to switch off as well. Give your mind just a little bit of a rest. I saw that with Joe Root when Jamie Smith came out to bat.
Oh, that would have been nice, straight up in the air.
Jamie Smith got his first runs in Test match cricket, and straight away Joe Root was down and just said something to him, and just that ability to take yourself out of your own space sometimes just gives you that little bit of breather.
It's hard. It's hard as a debutant, much harder as a debutant for Smith. But it's still hard, even if you're as experienced as Joe Root, because you have voices in your head telling you what to do or expect this, and you've got to give yourself the time in the middle until those voices quieten down, because batting is a reactive skill, and you've got to be in a mind space where you're not preempting things or you're premeditating things, so you're watching the ball and reacting to it, and that's when you bat at your best.
Oh, that's hit on the pad now. Is that sliding? Motie delivers the ball wide of the crease, trying to angle it in, occasionally take it away. It might just be his undoing. Five down, 277 on the board.
That's a good ball. Another little inside edge, perhaps, as Joshua De Silva indicates. But at the same time, Root doesn't get his foot across, so the chances are that when he does get hit on that front leg with that drift, it's going down past leg stump, and if it does turn, it hits his bat.
Complete opposites in their career. Joe Root, who for so many years for England has been their premier batter, but he's back to us at the moment, and then the man in his very first Test match in Jamie Smith. Chance just to reset himself again. Talk about rhythm. Often the word routines comes into that conversation. Keep your routine steady. Allow yourself the best chance to approach this next delivery. Jaden Seals started from the nursery end yesterday. Bowled his overs from the pavilion end today.
I always think the pavilion end is harder. And I saw Joe Root facing Holder, talking about how difficult it was to see the ball, especially with Holder's height. Seals the same. It's coming through the crowd. The members sitting in front of the side screen.
I thought you meant as a bowler. I'm thinking, when did you come in from the pavilion end bowling the ball?
Never. But you know, you talk about Lords and the challenge of the slope and the movement and overcast conditions, and one of the other things I struggle with as a batter here is just the crowd, and if they turn up in the MCC coloured places, it's even worse. I reckon they've got to do a dress code change, all in white, can't move, stay where you are.
Well, England batting today, there was certainly no one from the members sitting in and around the sight screen in their red blazers. They'll be giving them as much support as possible.
There we are, egg and bacon.
There's a lot of chat about the way in which the West Indies should go about it in the first session, and potentially when they hadn't picked up that wicket, whether or not they should go short. They would have done their homework. They certainly would know that Jamie Smith is excellent on the short ball, whether it's cutting or pulling. A very good average in the county championships, about almost ticking up to 80. Most of his shots this morning have all been off the front foot.
The West Indies haven't been too bad actually this morning. They've tried. They haven't really been consistent enough in terms of length and line. That's also to do with the attacking style of play England brings to the game. But I think Motie has been excellent so far. 7 overs for 19. So he's doing a good holding job. The one wicket, a beautiful delivery that turned off from the rough to Stokes. But the fast bowlers have to now back that up with more discipline.
It's a lovely straight drive. And a good bit of fielding too by the off stump. It's a maiden though. Score remains 277 for 5. Well, when you're playing in your first ever Test match, it'd be nice to, well, it's always nice to walk out into the middle, but even nicer when you've got a senior player like Joe Root at the other end. It calms the nerves a little bit more for Jamie Smith. We've got a little partnership building here, 23 between the two.
None. Oi, Hodgie. Shadow it, Hodgie, shadow it. Try.
Kumar, I want to pick your brains
Might not
on
get, but try.
Ben Stokes, because it's the first time in his career that he's gone for a stretch where he's had 5 scores in single figures. That today added to it. You've seen a lot of him. You know his temperament and his style of play. Is there any concerns at the moment when you see a shot like that?
No, I don't think it's a concern as such. I think motivation and that focus for Ben Stokes comes with what's on the line in the game. And we've seen, you know, when the occasion calls for him to do something really special for England, grind it out, or score runs quickly, whatever that is, his focus seems much sharper right from the start. When he does come in, you know, in a situation like this, it just takes a little bit longer to settle in. And the way he kind of played at that ball, knowing it's so rough, knowing turn was the most dangerous for him to be out LBW or bowled as he was. It's really important that you come in with an idea of what am I going to the left arm spinner. Usually for Stokes, that's a sweep, a slog sweep, rather than a flick from way outside off stump into leg side. So it's just a case of arranging his mind and that focus, and again being really tight in what he wants to do to a ball and that plan.
Fair to say from the look on Ben Stokes' face as well. He thought exactly what we thought as well. It was a fine delivery. 279 for 5. And here's the challenge now for the West Indies. We saw this in Australia during the recent Australian summer when they were touring. Ways just to hang into sessions. Now I feel as if they've got an opportunity here, particularly if they can build against Jamie Smith in his first test. Try and pick him up nice and early. Then it's into the all-round capabilities of Chris Woakes, and then another debutant in Gus Atkinson.
That's one of the tough things to do as a debutant for England in this setup, with the mindset they have, the pace of play, the kind of player they look to debut in their side. And Jamie Smith has come in with him as an attacking batter. We need him at 7 to try and really accelerate the score. Bat with maybe the last recognised batter and then bat with the tail. So for Jamie Smith, it's the pressure is almost double, because yes, it's his debut, but he's also got to kind of live up to that expectation. So the key for him is to know when he's ready to do that. And just like that, the ball on the stumps, angling towards the legs, and he shows us again the glimpse of the promise that England has seen, and we've all seen watching him play for Surrey in franchise cricket. Beautifully put away through mid-wicket.
And this comes from patience. He's had this line and length for a number of occasions throughout his innings, and he's peppered that short mid-wicket. And he hasn't got into his own head too much and tried to force anything. He was just patient. And he just got the right angle of bat for that one. Lovely, and backs it up. It's back-to-back boundaries. That, the better of the two.
Beautifully played. He's got a great bat swing. Doesn't have too long a stride. His head's right over that front foot, so allows his hand to meet the ball ideally. Doesn't have to play too much across his front pad either on the leg side, but when the ball is there to be driven straight or through the offside, he's got enough space between that front foot and the pitch of the ball for his hands to come through.
Well, he bats 4 for Surrey, and he's been doing it superbly well. He's coming off 170 against Essex and 86 in the match before that as well. So he'd be used to batting with a bit of the tail of Surrey with the amount of time that he's been out in the middle.
Hold on a minute, Mel. I don't think the Surrey tail gets much exposed.
Threw the bait out there and you took it beautifully, Kumar. Once a Surrey player.
Always with the 3 feathers.
Oh, goes a short ball. It's through to Silva. 2 boundaries in the over. 287 for 5.
You're talking about what the West Indies should do. And they should be trying now to have different bowlers play different roles. Go short a bit, set the short ball plan, then revert back to line and length. Give different role clarity to different bowlers, because you can't go the same way with the same tempo with that varied pace and heights you have and the skills you have in that West Indies lineup. Motie is doing a really good job holding the line. The rest have to now try and get wickets, because if this game meanders through another 2 sessions, West Indies are going to get battered out of the game. Even for Motie with that short leg fielder to Root and to Smith, you could play around with him. You could have him on leg slip for a while, maybe still him off for a while. Just do a few changes to kind of get the batters thinking.
Tick over 5 minutes before the luncheon break.
Ball, Mot. Keep going, Mot. Going, good, Rakesh.
So often we talk about owning the time before breaks in Test match cricket. And that shot probably indicates a little bit of the mindset now of Joe Root coming into the break. He's done it again. He's got Stokes, he's got Root, the captain and the former captain of England, and he's making things talk here today at Lord's is Motie. Absolute brilliance.
That is a phenomenal delivery. Joe Root didn't see him in any trouble. But just that seam position looks like an arm ball. Quicker, flatter, great length. He tried it a couple of times before. Once to Jamie Smith was too short. But this one, absolutely on the money. Knocking back that off peg. And the well-said Joe Root was set to go big. He's got to go for 68. And England now are 287 for 6.
Chris Woakes strides out to the middle. Happy memories at this ground, particularly with the bat. 137 not out. You can see there, bottom of screen against India 6 years ago. Well, he's been holding, has Motie, but he's also been causing issues as well. And it's that wonderful balance between defence and attack. Yeah. It was a peach, that's for sure. The reactions from both Stokes and from Joe Root, the two deliveries that have got Motie's 2 wickets, tell the story. Confident start there from Chris Woakes. It's going down the hill. And yeah, give up on that as it gathers pace almost.
Motie giving the ball a little bit more air, trying to see if there's any turn on the pitch for him for a right-hander. But Chris Woakes is very capable with the bat. Long strike down, great control of the hands, opening of the face. You want to get off the mark with the boundary whenever you can, Mel.
Oi, well ball, Motie.
Tightens up his line for the next ball. Just to confirm, 62 with the bat here at Lord's. Look at that average with the ball. It's a little under 12. All-round skills of Woakes.
Oh yes, Motie. Go ahead, Motie.
The wicket of Joe Root in that over takes England to 291 for 6.
Just the pace and the length, and Joe Root losing control of his hands, pushing through. I think that was the pace of the ball. He didn't expect it to hold, perhaps deviate as much as it did. He thought he'd hit it through the line, as he did all this while. But what a beautiful delivery. This is what you want your spinner to do, not just hold once in a while, get a couple of wickets as well. And Motie has been absolutely spot on this morning with his roll. Dan Lawrence bowls a little bit like that as well. Right-handed though, off spin, but the similar kind of action as well.
Backs are up here, the West Indies. Can they just find something here just before the luncheon break? It's all over to Jaden Seals coming in from the pavilion. They know if they get Smith in this over, they will go to lunch very happy indeed. They're probably just having a bit of a chat about whose delivery was better.
by what Joe Root was explaining there to Ben Stokes. He knew it was the arm ball. He saw it, but what he didn't think would happen was the deviation as it should spin. It did miss the outside edge of the bat, and that was what surprised him. That is perhaps the position, not just of the shine to bring the ball in, but how the seam interacts with the pitch, and then it takes it again away from the outside edge. So that surprised him, something unexpected, but a wicket nonetheless.
And you think back to the start of the day as well, where Brook and Root in particular, the pull shot and then the cover drive, both sides, boundaries, both sides of the wicket. And it felt like there's a little bit of danger sides here for the West Indies, with those two forming a nice little partnership. And then it was the fight back from the West Indies. Clever batting there by Smith, ducks out of the pull shot.
He seems to have a lot of time, Jamie Smith. He looks very calm. I mean, I've spoken to him a couple of times, once recently in a blast game at Surrey. But even when he does interact with people, it's in a very calm and measured manner. And he brings that same mannerism, that same kind of countenance to what he's doing out there today on debut. And that's going to be a great strength for him.
It's a little piece of that for the single. Do you often find that the personality of a player matches their style of batting?
Well, in terms of how England's set their template, personality is a big thing for them. Style of play, the personality they bring, how they add to the team environment, the energy, the enthusiasm, the willingness to kind of say, okay, what are we chasing here? And be able to then do what the team requires you to do. So I think Jamie Smith, his style of play, his personality just suits all of that really well.
One delivery to navigate here for Woakes. Gets that front leg up nice and high. Ryan Lara style for the single. And that completes a very entertaining first session of play here at Lord's on day 2. 190 runs scored by England. West Indies picking up 3 key wickets. And it's been Motie that has really caused a few little issues for England in this first session.
Left arm spinner from Guyana produced a couple of lovely deliveries, actually.
Boy, get this trick. Start modes, good start modes.
Ball 1 to Ben Stokes that curled and then spun sharply out of the rough, and then got Joe Root with what was an arm ball, really. And Root picked the arm ball, but then it moved off the seam down the slope a bit. And rocked back Root's off stump. But he's a nice bowler. He's got a good control. There is his flight. He's got a nice arm ball.
Oh, well bowled, Motie. Really good Akish. Oh, down. Go ahead, Mots. Go ahead, boys. Oi, Motie. Go on, Mots. Really good, Mots. Catch it.
294 for 6. Mentioned those 2 wickets, and they're worthwhile having a look at again. Stokes first of all. Sharp spin there, and completely flattening the England captain's middle stump, and then just before lunch, Root getting his off stump pegged back. 2 beautiful deliveries, Brody.
Yeah, 2 pretty good batters to send back to the pavilion, aren't they? I love the look on Ben Stokes' face when it goes through the gate, and disbelief almost. But yeah, Joe Root's saying he picked the arm ball, played almost for the lack of spin, and it just straightened down the slope, which is why a lot of left-arm spinners like bowling at the nursery end, because you get a little bit of natural help with the movement away.
I don't think the spinner he was looking to do that, was he? He was trying to bowl the arm ball, which Root picked. The fact then it just nipped off the seam down the slope is just a bit of natural variation, as you say. That was a bit of a loosener from Alzari Joseph, who has bowled both ends. He's bowled nursery end and pavilion end, and you've got to try and adjust your line when you're coming from the pavilion end, or you'll just push it down the slope and get it too straight.
Yeah, he looked a bit better from the pavilion end. I think the nursery end, he was struggling with his line. He'd either be too wide, and then when he tried to force himself a bit straighter, he'd be leg stump, and he was bowling at Joe Root and Highbrook are very strong off their legs anyway. So I think he suits this pavilion end. Currently going through the fast bowler motion of blaming fine leg for the leg side delivery. Been there, done that.
Yeah, we saw Root on the balcony. He was kind of talking his teammates through the fact that he'd picked the arm ball. It was the arm ball. You can see the position of the seam. Then it just straightens. And I don't think that the spinner was looking to do that.
I also don't think Joe Root can do anything about that. He's picked the ball correctly, so he's played the line that he thinks it's not going to turn on, and it just moves that perfect amount.
Just goes to show, really, that you bowlers have it all in your favour. Something can happen that you're not intending to happen. Lovely seam position. Ball starts to curl in, and then it just nips off the seam. How's that happen? Yeah, supposed to be the arm ball. See you all dressed in white today, Stuart, as if you're saying you quite like to be out there bowling. Has there been any part of you since that game at the Oval that you've thought to yourself, I'd quite like to have another go, or are you very happily retired?
Very happy at the moment. Yeah, I was quite comfortable, sat up here, beautiful view that we have watching yesterday, and I suppose some of my favourite mornings were rocking up day 2 when you bowl a team out, sunny day, and the guys have got out and bat nicely, so maybe missed it a bit more today.
It's a good ball that just moved up the slope a little and beat Smith's outside edge. What are the bowlers up to today then, on a day when you're pretty much certain you're not going to be doing that much? What's Anderson? Is he a crossword type or not?
Yeah, loves the crossword. He'll be lying on the floor, feet on his cricket bag, doing the crossword. Very, very laid back warm up this morning, I'd have thought.
Is he a messy type in the dressing room?
Horrendously so. Him and Stokes sit next to each other. You just have to avoid that area of the changing room.
He's a man after my own heart then. 300 up for England.
Yeah, in the changing room, you do get the messy players sort of congregate together, and the people who like to be a little bit more organised seem to sit nearer each other as well. You know, I couldn't imagine Ben Stokes sitting too close to Joe Root, where Joe lines everything up immaculately and beautifully, and Stokes, he just flings his bats everywhere and see where they end up.
And you, were you tidy or messy?
I knew where everything was, not lined up, but I would always know where everything was. Yeah, I think Gus Atkinson's taken my spot in the Lord's changing room.
Which is where would you be?
The window to the right of Harry Brook there, next to Ollie Pope.
Rare bad ball. He's bowled a couple. He gave Jamie Smith a half tracker to get up and running, and now he's just gifted him a full toss on leg stump, and Smith has not missed out on either.
You normally bat with a chassis. Yeah. I learned that the hard way.
So Anderson will vacate his seat in the dressing room after 21 years. Well, where's he been? He's been on the left-hand side, has he? There's a kind of long row of near the sink.
No, he's the far end. If you look through Marcus Trescothick there, right behind him on the back wall is where Jimmy sits. The captain Ben Stokes. He sat there. Used to be next to Alistair Cook. He sat there his whole career. I think that's one of the shy at the stumps.
Ooh, just for a moment it looked like there might be some overthrows, but Shamar Joseph did well in the end to get round.
You gotta go.
It was a late backup, this, wasn't it? I don't think he was expecting the throw to go to the bowler's end. So it was a bit of a scramble. He did well.
Jaden Seals.
Oi! That gap real big.
How does the Lord's dressing room accommodate everybody these days? Because some of the grounds that have rebuilt their pavilions, like Old Trafford, obviously have massive changing rooms now, but Lord's in the 19th century pavilion, the dressing room can't be enlarged, and it seemed quite cramped when I was there, and those were in the days where we just had a couple of backroom staff. Now there's 15 or so. Do they have to have a second room somewhere? 307 for 6.
It's actually the balcony that's the smallest part. The viewing area is the most difficult thing as a player. You get maybe 6 on the balcony that is generally taken up by coaches, so you get players peering through the windows where they can, kneeling on the seats. I was actually a bit of a TV watcher, to be honest. I'd watch on the TV. I wanted to sort of see exactly what was happening out there, so I'd watch on the telly inside the changing room on a comfy seat. But it's actually easier being the home team because you might only have 12 players. When you go on tour and you've got the squad of 15, 16, then it becomes a squeeze, because the home and away changing rooms here are mirror image. They're exactly the same. So the England change room, you get a little bit of space. The coaches have a different room out at the back of the pavilion to change. But I've seen a lot of Brendan McCullum with his feet up in that exact position, haven't we, over the last couple of years? Looking very relaxed.
He never gives the impression of being a man who's stressed out watching. Although coaches, it's not always how they feel, it's the vibe that they give off.
The sunglasses cap in Trevor Bayliss was a sun hat and sunglasses. I'm convinced that's to give no emotion away.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've not actually asked him, but he never takes those sunnies off. He's always wearing a cap, and I'm convinced it's so no one can tell how he's feeling or what he's thinking.
Loose. A little loose from Smith. Duncan Fletcher is exactly the same. Would sit there all day behind his shades, so you couldn't really get a sense of what he was seeing or feeling, emotions he was going through. His very first game as England coach, we were 2 for 4 within about 15 minutes, but he was imperturbable. His expression didn't change at all. Now, that's an unusual shot. Shortish again from Alzari Joseph, and looked like Jamie Smith was trying to almost flat bat that back over mid-on.
I think on these slower pitches, actually, it's that wider ball that the batters are trying to pull is the one that you feel can go straight up in the air, a bit like Harry Brook. It's actually feels like that was just normal length rather than an attempted bouncer. But Joseph bowled Smith a bouncer a couple of balls ago, and he just unsettled his footwork for a couple, didn't it?
Nobody home, Zari. Middle play. Nobody home, Zari.
Setting of the field here suggests that I'm going to target Woakes a bit shorter. Leg slip, leg gully in, a deep square and a mid-wicket a bit squarer. No third man, which is Woakes' favourite.
310 for 6. Lead a healthy one for England, 189. Partnership worth 23 between Smith and Woakes.
Oh, well bowled, Mot. Go in, Motie. Oh, right. Ball, Mot.
Tall man is Jamie Smith. He tends to crouch a little bit more for the spinners, and he did well. You've got an occasional ball from Motie scooting through low, so he's just got to be aware of that and stay with the shot.
Oh. Ball, Motie. Oh yes, Motes, well ball, Motes.
Pretty good over that from Motie, varying his pace from ball to ball. 310 for 6. Where do you see Chris Woakes' future, Stuart? I mean, a lot of talk obviously about Anderson finishing and looking to move on. Woakes himself is 35, isn't he? And when we did that little piece this morning looking at the speeds of the bowlers yesterday, Woakes actually is slower than Anderson at the moment. And England have talked about half an eye on the future and the Ashes in 18 months' time. And clearly Woakes' home record is far better than his away record. Where would you see his future as a Test cricketer?
Yeah, his paces were down yesterday. I thought he looked out of rhythm. He's not had a huge amount of cricket. Didn't play much in the IPL or at all, I don't think. He bowled a ball. He looked really short of bowling. I think he also fell into a little bit of the trap of trying to swing the ball and got a bit floaty, whereas I see the best Chris Woakes is when that seems just wobbling a little bit and he nips it from back of a length. Yeah, it's an interesting, wasn't it, when Jimmy Anderson's obviously moving away from the team with an eye on 20 months' time in Australia, and is Chris Woakes in your best team in Australia? Probably not, but he at Lord's right now he is. I would probably picture him playing this summer, having that sort of solid number 8 and reliable bowler that the likes of Gus Atkinson can learn from, and then they may look at a slightly different shaped bowling attack for the winter of Pakistan and New Zealand. But after such an impact in the Ashes last year, Chris would feel he deserves a go again this summer and the right to play.
Ooh, it's good bowling. There's only one slip in place because they've got a catcher on the leg side in a leg gully, fine leg gully position. They've got an orthodox gully, and that just leaves Holder alone at slip.
It's actually the field that I think has set Chris Woakes' weight back slightly, expecting it a bit shorter. Goes back to a ball that's not that short and gets an edge on it, but because they're covering the short ball field, can't afford to have another slip, so that's 4 to the score. But this field is set for the short pitch bowling with the leg gully there, fine leg fine, mid wicket in front of square and square leg out in front of square.
Yeah, that's what it's set for. And he does have a reputation, doesn't he? A little bit, Chris Woakes. People do go to the short ball ploy against him.
Yeah, they do. Generally, actually, with a third man in place, because he likes to open up the offside by stepping away slightly. I think it's quite a hard plan to go half and half with. I think the best teams in the world who execute it go full out, and they cover. They know they're going to bowl short, and they cover the field suitably. And I think if you're trying to bowl a bit of length and a bit of short, you can end up leaking a little bit.
He's got good rhythm here, Alzarri Joseph. Looks certainly better from the pavilion end. And he's come bounding in after lunch. He's already conceded more than 100 runs, so he's going at just under 6 and over. He hasn't necessarily been at his best in this innings, but you'd say just after lunch he seems to have found a nice rhythm.
And consistent pace. Last ball's at 91 miles an hour. Tell he's lacked a bit of cricket because he's bowling one bad ball and over, isn't he? And generally when you're fully flowing, you don't do that. But he's certainly suited this end. Change of end. Stride pattern looks better. He's hitting the crease harder.
Beats on the outside edge again, as Woakes is just not sure what's coming. He's half expecting the short ball, beaten to the fuller pitch. 3-1-5 for 6. Something we don't talk about enough. I mean, there's a lot of conversation about the schedule in cricket and the difficulty of bowlers trying to get through various formats, but for the likes of Alzarri Joseph and Sharma Joseph, who've just been playing T20 cricket, if that, for the last 4 months, it means you come into a test series. Physically, it's tricky, isn't it? You haven't got your loads up.
You can get to your 10th over in a test match day and feel like the legs have gone a bit on you. And this is a few bowlers that I've worked with in the past might, if they're playing a lot of T20 cricket, which is 4 overs per game, actually in training they might bowl 8 or 2 sets of 4 and build the loads throughout training to make sure that they've got some miles in the legs. But nothing really prepares you for a day in the field. It really doesn't. You can do all the work in the gym and as much running as you want, but actually being on your feet for 90 overs in a test match day in the field, very hard to replicate unless you have your whites on.
Over the wicket now, Motie. There is a little bit of rough outside the right-hander's leg stump. We saw him spin one sharply to Stokes, who's a left-hander, of course, but it pitched just in that bit of rough that's outside Jamie Smith's leg stump.
What's his mode of dismissal here? I think he's trying to get Jamie Smith to slog sweep out the rough, and it might go straight up in the air or to 45.
Yeah, just there. Smith's a tall man. He crouches a bit and will look to sweep. So there's a short fine leg in place, and then there's a deep backward square. And a top edge could go to either of those, depending on how hard Smith looks to hit the ball.
You went to and do some drills. You went and do some drills. Oh, you're looking better. How was that?
You get a good view of the rough from Spider Cam. It's not a massive amount of rough yet, but it is a little bit for Motie to work with. 315 for 6.
So I think the grip for the Ben Stokes dismissal, the puff of dust, would encourage him as well. I think if he can just get one of them to puff when Jamie Smith's trying to sweep, that's when your wicket comes.
Yeah, this is the dismissal of Stokes. You see it pitch right in that rough, and that's the puff of dust that Stuart Broad referenced. Look of surprise on Stokes.
We've seen that face quite a lot in recent times.
Exactly. Exactly so.
Joseph come on to bowl, change of bowling. A little bit of a surprise. I thought Ozora Joseph was just hitting his straps and beating the bat. I think he beat Chris Woakes 3 times in the last over. Sometimes works, doesn't it? You can bowl a really good spell and you take a break, and then new bowler comes on and finds the edge.
Right there. Right there.
Well, moments ago we were talking about the difficulties for bowlers coming into a test match on the back of very little work. Shamar Joseph has only bowled 14 overs since January, since the test match in Brisbane in January. 14 overs is all. So he missed the warm-up game in Beckenham because he got here late due to the hurricane and flight difficulties of getting from Guyana to England. Yesterday went off with a bit of cramp, didn't he? But was quickly back on. This looks as though he's clutching his hamstring.
Could be cramp again, you know. I mean, he held his calf yesterday and his sort of groin area. This is now his left hamstring. As a fast bowler, your left hamstring is working extremely hard. It is when you're landing with your front foot. It's the muscle that's pulling back when you lift over. But unusual to get cramp so early in the day again.
I hope he stays on. We've got a documentary going out tomorrow afternoon about him. And of course, let's hope he's okay. That hamstring, if it was a proper hamstring, he'd have gone off, wouldn't he? He wouldn't be kind of having the physio on and doing this if he felt he'd torn his hamstring.
Hard to know unless he's done it before. It's hard to know what it feels like, the difference between cramp and a tear. But with a torn hamstring, I don't think you're getting in that position.
That's Jace.
Thanks,
Jace. He's about the only man who can reach up to Spider Cam at 6'8".
Our coverage would have been boring if that cat went over there, wouldn't it? I just feel like you put a microphone on Spider Cam and go, Shamar, what's happened? What's wrong?
Well, fingers crossed he's okay. I think he's wandering off here, is he? Yeah. Well, not good news for West Indies. It doesn't look dramatically bad, does it? But nevertheless, he's off here 4 balls into the 76th over, with the second new ball not far away. And the fact that the second new ball is imminent, I think, is why Craig Brathwaite now has marked out his run. He'll just try and get through with himself and Motie to that second new ball, and that was why Alzarri Joseph only bowled a 3-over spell, even though he was looking good from the pavilion end after lunch. So Brathwaite will complete this, will try and get through to the second new ball. He'll have a blast with Seals and Alzarri Joseph, and hope that by then Shamar Joseph can get a bit of treatment, and if it is cramp, fingers crossed it is cramp, get back on the field. Very gentle off spin ball by the West Indies captain.
Go, Craigie. Catch it.
317 for 6.
Jamie Smith in his first test for England on home soil. It's a nice little start too, 28 to his name off 70 deliveries faced. Just starting to form this nice partnership with Chris Woakes as well. Little break in play with Shamar Joseph going off. Slightly concerning for the West Indies, won't it, Andrew Strauss, that Shamar and both day one had a little bit of a groin issue, now going off hamstring issue.
Ow!
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're fortunate that Motie has been able to bowl with such control. I think he's been impressive all day long, being able to sort of attack and defend at the same time. This is very much defensive mode, bowling over the wicket, but causing some problems for all the England batsmen.
Go ahead, Mort.
They'll be looking for the new ball, though, won't they? Available after the 80th over, and I suppose it will be Alzarri Joseph
Catch it.
and Jaden Seals who will be taking that new ball, but really need to make something happen now, don't they? England with a sizable lead of 197, and really no real pressure on these England batsmen right now.
The other interesting byplay with Shamar Joseph going off was the conversation between the physio himself and the skipper too, and you could just tell that Shamar Joseph is an inexperienced player, sort of, and reasonably still new to the game too. It was almost like he wasn't 100% sure of what was actually going on with his body, so the decision almost went over to the physio, and the physio just went, nope, you're coming with me. Off we go, let's have a look. Gets a little bit of width and can't put away Chris Stokes. 118 for 6.
Yeah, and I think it's worth mentioning that so many of these West Indian cricketers are inexperienced, not just in terms of test matches, but also first-class matches. And so they are just learning the game. There's Joseph getting a bit of a rub down, and hopefully releasing whatever tension there might be. It's hard to come to England when you don't have that real strong basis to your game. When you're under pressure, you're always trying to rely on things that you've done many, many times before. And you look at Mikael Louis in his first Test match, Mackenzie 4 Test matches, Athanaze 5. Hodge 3 Test matches, and of course Shamar Joseph just in his 3rd as well. So very, very inexperienced.
I can remember when Shamar Joseph got hit on the toe in the Gabba Test, that historic win by the West Indies in Australia recently. And he was of the mindset the next day that he wasn't even going to go to the ground. So that's that sort of inexperience, isn't it? That, you know, most people have got an injury that doesn't sort of need complete rest, that you still go with the team and you're sort of around the group. The Australians would have been happy that if he did stay in the hotel, because it certainly would have made a different result.
Well, he certainly showed that he could put up with the pain. That was a brilliant performance from him and the West Indian team. So much talk about T20 cricket taking over and the best West Indian players going off and playing franchise cricket. You need stories like that, don't you? Famous wins against Australia to keep people interested.
Get it.
I think when people hit hundreds in Test match cricket, or, you know, take a fifer, they're the ones you really remember, isn't it? Sometimes hundreds and fifers can sort of come and go a little bit in T20 cricket. The skipper getting through another over as we edge closer to that new ball. 320 for 6.
Well, new ball just round the corner here. England's lead 199. I'm going to be interested to see how Jamie Smith shapes up against that new ball. Always looking when someone's making their debut, gain some indications of where they're really strong and maybe where there are a few weaknesses. And of course, the new ball's likely to expose that. He's done a good job so far, 30 off 75 deliveries.
Played most of his cricket for Surrey, batting at 4. There's Jamie Smith. It's through the infield as he picks up another 2.
I've liked the fact that he's just been composed. I mean, there would have been a lot of pressure on him to come out and really impose himself, given all the chat before the game about his ability to up the tempo, etc.
Yeah, found the gap this time though. He had enough time, plenty of time in fact, just to shift the weight onto the back foot and find the gap.
Yeah, and that's what I've been talking about. He's just been studious in defence, and when the ball's been there to hit, he has generally put it away. And there haven't been many from Motie, so he has had to be patient. A bit short, a bit wide, and we know that he hits the ball exceptionally hard.
And I think that shot certainly shows some confidence too, off the back foot for the 4, and then the very next delivery coming out to try and meet the ball, nullify any spin.
Oi, well bowled, Motie.
And solid in defence.
Really good, Motie.
Trying to whip it to the onside, and that would have been sliding down leg.
Oh!
There's that footwork again. 3-2-7 for 6.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of talk about Jamie Smith being able to up that tempo, but it's also choosing the right time to do it. I mean, with Chris Woakes batting at the other end, there's nothing stopping them establishing a big, strong partnership here. I mean, where you want the tempo to be raised, I suppose, is when the likes of Atkinson and Bashir come in. So he's doing his job perfectly right at the moment.
So just one more over before the West Indies can take that new ball. We can see all the quicks rolling their arms over at the moment as if to say to the skipper, I'm ready to go. One quick who isn't is Shanard Joseph, who's on his back on the table in the change rooms getting some treatment. You'd have been out there numerous times and all of a sudden the team's coming up to take the new ball. What sort of goes through your mind?
What, in terms of a captaincy? Or I certainly wasn't asking for the new ball, I know that much. You know, I think often you feel like the new ball is a real opportunity to shift the momentum in a game. And so you're thinking to yourself, you don't necessarily just take it at 80 overs as a given. You're trying to think about how long there is till the next break, whether the ball's reverse swinging or not as well. But when you do take it, you want it to be impactful. And what used to really annoy me is if the bowlers took 2 or 3 overs to get into things, you just feel like you've lost that opportunity to really shift the whole kind of complexion of the game. You know, when you look at it now, the West Indies are in a situation where if they use that new ball well, you might get England out for another 30 or 40 runs. Likewise, if you don't, there's not much to come back with. And so you've got a sort of half-hour period there where you really got to give it everything.
Oh, hesitancy. Quick release and in, and a better throw might have been interesting. Instead, it's a dot ball, and it's 3-2-9 for 6. That's the end of the 80th over. And all eyes now on Brathwaite as we have a look at this. Almost halfway down the pitch to turn around quickly. It's the last thing England would have wanted.
Well, as expected, the new ball is being taken. Perhaps unexpectedly, it looks like Jason Holder is going to be taking that new ball. You would have thought there would have been Joseph and Seals, but Holder, I suppose the steady hit line, hit length bowler, hasn't done too much so far today. Figures 15 overs, 1 for 49. So it'd be interesting to see how he goes. Of course, with that height, you're expecting him to get a bit more bounce with this new ball.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain that Sean Tate over the luncheon period too would have been having a good chat to both Craig Brathwaite and the Quicks in particular about the game plans when the new ball was taken. And this might have been one of their ploys. It's got the 2 slips, the gully, backward point in play. And he gets it right straight away.
Not a bad start. Holder does just get the ball just to nip off the seam a little bit. Hard guy to get on top of. Yeah, I saw Sean Tate before the start of play, sort of got that nervous twitch back on. It's just so many times facing him bowling absolute thunderbolts. Not a guy I like seeing very much.
Broke out a little sweat, did you?
I think he bowled me here with a ball that was 99 miles an hour in 2000. When was that? 2010. Absolutely terrifying.
There was the speed and also the action too, wasn't there?
Yeah, and the feeling like he might bowl a beamer at you at the same time, so you never felt comfortable. He could get it out there. Obviously, playing most of his cricket in white ball cricket. Been a very, very tough bowler to face.
It's nice, really nice, and we've seen it right from the start of his innings. Jamie Smith more than happy and comfortable to use his feet to spin and also to the seam.
Yeah, and as you say, that shows a lot of confidence. New ball in hand, but you know with Jason Holder that you do have to be proactive because he's not going to give you much. He's going to dob that ball on a line and length, and so if you can get down the track, it does provide scoring options.
Thick inside edge, and he'll look up and have a contemplate about the second. The side's against it.
I suppose the other reason why the West Indies will be tempted to put on Jason Holder with the new ball is really to keep a lid on things. We talk about the opportunity to shift the momentum of the game with the new ball, but of course it also provides more scoring opportunities. You'd like to have more attacking fielders, and so at least Braithwaite will know what he's going to get from Jason Holder. You want to keep a lid on things and also attack at the other end.
Knew it immediately, did Chris Woakes off the bat, called it nice and early. The lead is 2-14, England 320 for 6. Day 2 of the first test of the English summer, and as per usual, there's no surprise there. Brendan McCullum, Ben Stokes looking very relaxed indeed. It'll be Seals with the second over with the new ball. Started at the nursery end yesterday, but has bowled most of his overs from the pavilion end today. Jason Holder, who took the first over of the new ball, now slots himself in at second slip. A little bit of movement in the air. There's a lot of movement off the bat as the 50 partnership comes up between Smith and Woakes.
Yeah, well, Woakes has got a very good average at Lords, and if you're going to bowl too full and too wide at him, he's going to put you away. Very useful batsman to come in at number 8, Chris Woakes.
And apologies to our viewers, we've got a little bit of technical issues at the moment, so no score on your screen, but working exceptionally hard to rectify that. So we'll keep throwing this up for you. Lead of 218. Andrew, I'm tipping a few people at the ground and people at home too, looking at that lead and thinking, what will Ben Stokes do? What's he thinking?
Well, what we've seen from this England side generally is that when they have an opportunity to take the aggressive and attacking option, they're going to take it. And I suppose when you look at the context we're in today, that might mean they're tempted to have a go at the West Indies at some stage this evening. Ben Stokes looking very relaxed there at the moment. Nice set of shades, isn't it, Mel?
Which ones? They're all rocking them at the moment.
Kumar's got a nice set of shades as well. I don't know if you saw him this morning. Big yellow shades, Kumar Sangakkara. Yeah, it's interesting. In my day, I would have been sitting back and thinking, well, we'll bat for as long as we can. Keep the West Indies out there. There are 2 more test matches to come, but Ben Stokes sees things very differently. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a go this evening. What do you think?
As we've heard from Brendan McCullum, win first, but win in an entertaining way. And just to confirm too, good news for the West Indies and for the test match that Shamar Joseph is back on the field. He just tested out that hammy too, because he had to run all the way across the ground down to fine leg. There he is there. Excitement machine, that is for sure. Very first ball in test match cricket, picked up Steve Smith. He tested the hammy that day because no one could catch him. He was off on the Adelaide Oval. Clipped in the air, straight to the field, and that is the wicket. The new ball has worked for the West Indies.
Well, Chris Woakes cannot believe this. He absolutely timed that so well. Ben Stokes can't believe it either. Absolutely came right out of the middle of the bat. And it carried all the way out to the square leg boundary.
Mikhail Louis had a good look at this. He just needed to settle himself. Probably could have taken another half step to be a little bit more balanced, but the hands were good. The skipper can't believe it. Wonderful timing, but straight to the field. Woakes departs. And England 3-3-9 for 7. Yeah, time for a drinks break as well.
Two Surrey debutants now in the middle here at the home of cricket. 339 for 7. Smith had looked really composed. He's 42 not out, as was Chris Woakes, before he flipped that one into the deep out of nowhere. So that was a 7th wicket down. Holder again. Clipped, and it's gone past Sharma, who is back on the field after some stiffness. Two brown hatters in the middle, two brown hatters in the commentary box. You right, Kumar?
Very well, Wardy. It's great to see that. Atkinson has done his part with the ball so far in this game. Jamie Smith clearly well suited to this format of the game, and as we see Woakes absolutely creaming it off the middle. Unfortunately, not far enough. It's nice to see some Surrey boys here. A continuous feeder pool into the England side.
Oh, that's lovely from Holder, just taking it down the hill. What have you made of Jamie Smith, though, the way he's shaped up?
I think he's been very good, very, very impressive. And I think he's playing the situation really well. It would have been easy for him to come in and play the explosive way and just try and take everything on, but he's been measured. He's picked his moments well, and he's just showing that he's got the ability to adapt to the big game, the test matches, the situation, and not just play one way. Good technique as well. Really calm, looks unflustered, not much expression. Just calmly gets about his job. Kept well as really well. Good foot movement, a good inside nick that was taken. So all in all, a great start.
That keeping you refer to, obviously that was day one. He kept very tidily, didn't put a foot wrong, took a good catch. Does that bleed into your batting? You take confidence from one into t'other?
Yes, for sure. It can get very, very difficult, especially when you look at who he has replaced as well. So to be tidy with the gloves and then do your work with the bat makes it a lot easier. If one fails, and especially your keeping, you're going to have a lot of critics in your ear.
Were you ever out of nick with the bat but in nick with the gloves, or vice versa?
Too many times. At the start of my career, I was mostly out of nick with the gloves for about 2.5 years.
So Atkinson's first ball. And he's nicked it. He had a stellar day yesterday with the ball. It's not gone his way with the bat. His first test innings ends in a first ball duck.
He did the same for Jason Holder when Holder came out to bat, but this time Holder gets his revenge with the ball. That's really well bowled. The height allowing him to get that bounce. His usual away swinger from wide of the crease, getting the batter to play at it. And then a really good but easy take behind the stumps.
Well, it was a very good delivery. Atkinson trudges back to the pavilion, having gone for a golden duck for 342 for 8.
Come through.
Shoaib Bashir didn't have to bowl yesterday, not required, but he is required now with the bat. So he is batting at number 10. The new ball is working for West Indies. Jason Holder now has 2. He wants another catcher in the slip cordon. And we've praised how well Jamie Smith has played, been very composed and watchful, played the situation. Well, the situation has changed now. How does he go with the lower order? Bit of wobble there for Josh De Silva to deal with. He dealt with that nicely.
Holder's been pretty consistent. The seam position's always been good. His outswinger is his strength. Well, as a tail ender, you are going to push at it. You're not going to watch it go by.
It's the sort of one you think if you're Gus Atkinson, you probably think, why didn't I just wind up and really whack it?
I had this chat with Mike Brearley, and he calls it the staircase syndrome. He explained, he used a French phrase and then explained to me in English what that meant. But, you know, when you're after a dinner party, something is said, you go down the stairs out the front door and then think, oh, that would have been the perfect reply, but it's too late.
So Jaden Seals again from the pavilion end. What would you do if you were Jamie Smith now?
Well, I think there's no choice. I think this is the type of situation you want to be in as a batter, because the way you needs to play is dictated by the situation. Now, he's been selected with the specific role of batting at number 7 and being the bridge between the last recognized batter and the tail. So he's got to be able to bat conservatively as the situation demands, if he has batters to bat with, and then accelerate with the tail. Farm the strike, hit the boundaries, rotate in the last 2 deliveries, and then trust the tail ender to deal with whatever comes his way.
Well, Craig Brathwaite has kept the catches in place, 2 slips and a gully, but a single is being offered to Jamie Smith.
What he's got to be careful with is he needs to have a good chat with his partner. Now, Bashir is here. Can he be trusted to deal with the defense? If that's the case, refuse your singles, let the field come in for the last balls if they do decide to do that. Hit the 2 boundaries and hope that you can get back on strike with Bashir on the other end. Or, as the West Indies have pushed the field back, see where your options are and then try and exploit the gap. But you can't be blind about how you attack.
Down the ground, what a strike. Jamie Smith is now going to go on the attack with England 8 down. That's a sweet strike.
That's perfectly played, isn't it? Mid-on was deep, but not all the way down to the line. And even if he were down on the boundary line, he's placed it perfectly into that mid-wicket, straightish mid-wicket gap. And again, reading the swing, getting that bat coming just outside the line of the ball to get the placement right. And it's well hit. The first signs, Motie.
Well, the field hasn't changed. The previous ball was a sweet strike. That was a bit of a hack.
It was, but I understand where the gap is. It's deep square leg. There's a deep mid-on, and there's a gap straight in front of mid-wicket. Any bat on that, and that's full. And now Brathwaite is bringing the field in. He has the option of trying to hit 2 boundaries now, or then rotate strike and leave Bashir for 1 ball. What's he going to do?
Well, he's 1 away from a personal milestone on debut. He's 49 not out. Only 2 slips now, and the field has come up to try and stop the single. Heaved away leg side. It's going to be 50, and it's well fielded in the deep. So it is just the single. What a test match it has been so far for the debutant. Jamie Smith 50 not out from 98 balls.
Beautifully played, and a huge tick in the box for the style of player that England want, because he could have easily knocked it for 1 with a dead bat and tried to run hard, but he was looking for a boundary. The situation demanded that he keep attacking, and he was not thinking about an easy single to get that milestone. But very well played, and playing in the style that England needs.
Yeah, the tempo has been excellent. The thinking has been excellent. Now can Bashir see out this last delivery of the 84th over? Just about. It's a good one though from Seals. 347 for 8.
point, Jerry.
I think Jay's just pointing out that he's missed that by a yard. Doesn't matter though, he's still there.
Yeah, I was looking for the boundary. Stepped away. The bouncer looking to see if there's a top edge or catch to square leg, but just applause from the balcony. That's exactly what you want as a debutant. Do the tough work, get to that 50 first.
Benedict's just given me a stat. Only 2 other keepers, not just English, 2 other keepers in the history have made 50 on their Test debut at Lord's. So that's remarkable, really. Jack Russell's one and Matt Pryor's the other. Matt Pryor went on to get 100. Hit hard. The field is deep and he's not taken the single. So he's looking boundaries at least the first 3 or 4 balls, and then he'll work it out later. I think West Indies are correct to keep the catches in place though, because there is movement for Jason Holder. We saw that with Atkinson, and with Smith now looking to drive hard if it's up there. That ball will carry through. Still hard and new. Oh, that's a beauty. All eyes on the umpire. Was that an inside edge? No, it's gone through for byes. So bad luck, Joshua Da Silva. That was an awful one to try and take.
Yeah, tough work for the wicketkeeper. Conventional outswing for such a long time. Then the scramble seam nib backer and just nib back away from the slope. And way too much for the wicketkeeper to do.
Well, it's brought up England's 350, 351 for 8, the lead up to 230. We haven't seen too many balls wobble, but this one seems to be wobbling a little bit. It's amazing, isn't it? The different balls, they're all handmade, the atmospherics change. Again, he declines the single. Jason Holder with a new ball. He's found a lovely line and length. He's a tall man. He's not blessed with great pace, but he does have great accuracy, consistency and skill. Lovely grouping. There was the wicket there of Atkinson. Just a fraction fuller induced the drive.
Well, 1 delivery to go. Is he going to look for a single? Field coming in again. Watching that graphic, Wotie, as a batter you can do 2 things. One is bat as you are. Use your feet as Jamie Smith has done. But what Jamie hasn't done as yet is bat out of the crease right from the start. To give the ball a little bit more to think about.
So the field changes with 2 deliveries remaining. Still a slip and a gully. Fine leg and a deep square leg. Ooh, slower ball. A leggy, I think. Into T20 mode.
Back of the hand, seam up. Good thinking by Jason. And now the batter has 1 more delivery variation to think about. What's he going to do? Is it a single? Well, look at Jamie Smith and the way he's gone. Probably be a boundary attempt.
Another slowie. That's very good from Holder. It sort of slipped out of his hand. He's kept Smith off strike. 351 for 8. Well, it's been a lovely day in London today. It was pretty grim at times yesterday. The sun has shone pretty much throughout the day, and England's lead is now 230. So Holder managed to keep Smith off strike. So Seals has a full over, perhaps at Bashir.
I like the fact that Seals is going really full. One thing he can learn from Holder, Jayden Seals, is going wider off the crease, because he's getting that ball to swing so well away from the right-hander. You minimize the angle by going wide and get the batter playing more rather than leaving. Sometimes when you bowl too close to the stumps, you see the line right out of the hand and allows the batter to align himself a little bit more.
Well, he's going for the stumps, which is the right thing to do. He's going to get some advice. It's Jason Holder, with all his experience, has run all the way from his position in the slips to have a quiet word with Jayden. Surely that wasn't the advice.
Yeah.
Chuck it down the leg side and hide the ball.
Yeah, I think he was quite optimistic there if he was going to get that to swing back towards the slips. Jason Holder having another chat, but for Seals it's about understanding how he wants to get this batter out. Are you going to feed the slips? Yes. If it's wide at the crease, then drag the length back a little bit. If it's LBW and bowled, then you've got the option of going fuller. To settle in, have clarity at the top of his mark.
Well bowled, but well played. Nothing wrong with trying to rough the tail enders up, get them on the back foot. Maybe the next one will be a tad fuller. But in fairness to Shoaib Bashir, he's played that well.
Is that a Millie Champion Hall? That is batting me. That was one of my first bats.
Down there in Taunton, I'm sure they're still made down in Taunton. They had that oval handle. Do you remember?
I do. Oval handle.
Other bat manufacturers are available.
I remember batting with, buying the bat, putting in those days I had to put a different sticker on it, so it is quite interesting to see that. But I still wrote the oval handle. I grew out of it after a while, the oval handle.
Still give me bat jar, actually. I think there are a few of those bats kicking around with different stickers on down the years. Didn't tell your sponsor at the time, though, did you? Oh, well, you have to say good leave because he's still there, but that was tight. 351 for 8. We do bang on about the slope of Lord's a lot, but it's the main playing condition here, and that is a coat of varnish past the off stump. In fact, maybe it's gone straight over the top of it.
The one time you want the ball to keep low. Oh yeah, Jason Holder. A bit of county cricket getting ready for this tour. It's still in good stead. His bowling's improved tremendously. Scored a few runs as well.
Yeah, had a few games for Worcestershire. Didn't play at New Road because it was the start of the season when they had obviously terrible problems with the flooding and the residual damage that caused. It was pretty cold at the start of the summer, so I think he had about 6 layers on.
Didn't we all? Well, not everyone, but definitely the overseas players. I remember it snowing in the middle of summer down at the Oval one day. I heard New Road, it's moving because of the flooding.
Sharma is back. Well, there is talk of potentially having to relocate Worcestershire away from New Road. Ashley Giles, the chief executive, has spoken about that. They don't want to, but I think they've had 7 floods this winter, and that is not sustainable. They can't keep mopping it up. It costs a fortune. They lose revenue from not having home games. It would be terrible to move from such a beautiful ground, but times they are a-changing. It might necessitate a move. Smacked away on the offside, but there is protection out on the point fence. Not sure if Nissan Menon was asking Shamar Joseph to run off the pitch a bit. Not normally a problem bowling from the nursery end, because the slope takes you off anyway.
Yep.
Well, he'll take the run because he'll get a couple as he guides that past gully.
I've always found it interesting batting with the tail, because there are certain sides that keep attacking. Australia, New Zealand, sometimes South Africa, and their focus just shifts to the tail ender, and it allows you a lot of freedom to attack and score runs. A lot of boundaries come their way, but nowadays they just spread the field and are patient.
I remember England got it horribly wrong against Sri Lanka. Do you remember at Leeds? I think Angelo Matthews made a fantastic 100.
Yeah, 2014, he's second on the trot. Got a late 100 here at Lord's and went into Headingley's second innings. We were trailing, and then we ended up 300 ahead. Batted beautifully. Sir Vivian Richards and Sir Clive Lloyd.
How fit does Viv still look?
He looks incredible, doesn't he? And Sham Bhatia up in front has quite an extensive cricket museum. But Viv looks fantastic.
Smoke leg side. My goodness, that is miles back. What a shot.
The quickest bowler in the West Indian lineup. And Jamie Smith has skipped down the track and deposited him into the stands. And this is the excitement that everyone has about the ability of Jamie Smith. Touch, patience, power. Just beautifully hit. It's not easy. It's above waist height, but just that bat swing.
I reckon even Sir Viv would have been pleased with that one. Right, 1 ball remaining, and again Shamar Joseph is stretching. He's not comfortable. He keeps Smith on, well, off strike. 359 for 8.
It's time for Motie to come back on. I know it is the new ball. Joseph is not looking comfortable. He's got his head down, his hat in his hand, and he's at the first sign that he might wander off back into the pavilion for some attention. He doesn't look happy, Woody.
Yeah, this is not good news for West Indies, and particularly for Shamar Joseph. He's been off a couple of times with stiffness, soreness, cramp, whatever. I don't think it's a pull or anything like that, because they wouldn't keep sending him back out there, but he's in discomfort, and he's a brave character, a strong character, so he's obviously not right, and he's not comfortable.
You have to also be careful of pushing him. Yes, he played through injury in Brisbane, but this is the first test. They need to take care of their fast bowling resources, especially someone as exciting and skillful as Shamar Joseph.
So Seals to continue. 3 slips, a gully, a short leg, And they're not going to gift him a single, that's for sure. Swing hard and they hit fresh air.
That was quite interesting, isn't it? Something you expect from Jamie Smith and not Bashir, but no chat from Jamie Smith. He hasn't wandered down and said, hey, hold on a minute, that's my job, that's my role. Steady on here.
Well, this is the 6th last over. I think Shamar Joseph saw him going leg side and tried to follow him. All he did was follow him right on the middle of his bat. That was smoked.
Yeah, but you can see that in his run up through the crease, in his action and in his follow through, Shamar Joseph is not 100%. I've seen that yesterday, I've seen it today as well. Everyone was excited to see Shamar Joseph running in, steaming in. Can he repeat what he did in Australia? But not as yet. Sean Tate there, the fast bowling coach. He'll have some work to do, some words with the fast bowlers.
Well, he's going to play his shots, and that's just the way this England team goes. He's not really thinking about, well, I've got to stay here and bat for Jamie Smith. He's thinking, right, well, there are gaps in the field. There are boundaries to be had because the field is up. I'm going to try and get a 4 and get off the mark, by the way, as well.
It makes Jamie Smith's job easier as well. Well, if you're going to hit all of those strokes, well, don't worry about, you know, me farming the strike. I'll go as I do on this end and you do the same on that end.
Goes for the in swinger. It has swung. Doesn't look too fussed with life, does he, at the minute, Baz?
Why would you be? The choices you've made in terms of Jamie Smith, Gus Atkinson working like a dream, the match firmly in your grasp and control. Life's good. Put your feet up, relax, have a coffee, or in Baz's case, a glass of red.
Well, he just can't lay bat on ball at the minute. But he will have a role to play. We've seen Motie spin it. Brilliant delivery to get rid of Ben Stokes, and an equally good one to get rid of Joe Root earlier. So the brave selections have been the debutants, and they've selected Shoaib Bashir for his off spin over Jack Leach's left arm orthodox. And he'll have a role to play. Ironic cheers as bat finds ball. 3:59 for 8.
A question for you on what you just mentioned, Woody, in terms of selection. Bashir over Leach. I understand there's a really rigorous process of selection in place where there's a lot of backroom work done with IHawk technology, looking at player attributes, and to pass an eye test as well. Then they've got to fit into the dressing room and what they're going to look at. Was this selection, is it just for this test series, or also is it looking forward again at Australia, at other series coming as well?
It's looking forward, absolutely. It's looking at where they're going to be going in due course, the pitches that will be played on. They feel that Shoaib Bashir has all the attributes with his height and the amount of revs that he puts on the ball to be successful in places like Australia. You know, it's a big call because Jack Leach has been backed massively by Ben Stokes over the last couple of years, and Jack's had his problem with injuries, really unfortunate injuries and illness, but he has been massively backed. So for Stokes particularly to walk away from Leach, they must see something special in Shoaib Bashir.
Back to where and hit hard to sweeper. And with no disrespect to West Indies or Sri Lanka, I think a series like this and the one to come in the summer allows them a little bit of breathing space to try and see if Bashir And the faith they have actually pays dividends, so they can have a bit of patience with him.
Well, it's the reason they're moving on from Jimmy Anderson as well. You know, he's still bowling nicely, still fit as a fiddle. Does take the single, so he's going to allow Shoaib Bashir to face at least 3 deliveries from the left arm spin of Motie. So slip short leg. Man on the sweep was up on the single. He's now gone back onto the boundary. And mid-off is sort of loitering about 20 metres short of the boundary down here at the nursery end.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Go quick,
Push through. His pace and variation in flight has been impressive.
Go ahead, Mort.
Bit slower to dismiss Ben Stokes into the foothold. Quicker to dismiss Joe Root. This was pushed through. One with a bit more flight.
He's very skillful. He's done very well in the CPL. And we're watching him against the Barbados Royals. Defended, I think, 6 runs to win in the last over.
Oh, jeez.
Shoaib Bashir is off the mark to great cheers here at Lord's. No, he's not. He got sent back. He's still on naught. 360 for 8.
England lead by 239 runs. Tea could be in half an hour's time. Depends what happens with this 8th, 9th and final wicket. Can be delayed, can be taken early. Jamie Smith will put his foot down as he has done in the last half hour. It's his role in this side. It's probably the reason they moved away from Folkes. Not because of his keeping, not because so much of his batting, but the tempo of batting, especially with the tail. And it'll be harder now for Jamie Smith. If you just look at the field, everyone is spread. Apart from a slip and a gully, they are all out. Option for the uppercut over the slip if they do go short. It's gone a long way up. It's gone a long way. Full stop. Out the ground. Magnificent. Even he enjoyed that. Straight out the ground.
It's a terrific shot from that length. He played one off Shamar Joseph as well from the other end. So you've got to decide as a bowler if you're going to get it higher or if you're going to just try to get it a little fuller to him.
Well, I said it's a tough school nowadays being a wicketkeeper batter. You think of someone like Johnny Bairstow. If your keeping starts to go in the wrong direction, you come under pressure. Or if you're batting, then you come under pressure. Or even if you don't bat at the right tempo, as Folkes did, you come under pressure. They want a batter who dominates with the tail. And this is the role they're looking for with Smith. With the tail, take him on. Take him down. Down to St John's Wood Road. That. What's your plans now, Ian Bishop? Keep bouncing in the hope that he hits one up in the air, or mix it up?
No, I think you have to mix it up. If you're going to go into the pitch, you try to go hard length, heavy length, Jayden Seales, then you've got to go shorter. But generally, I think you've got to go a little bit fuller as well.
That's gone a long way up. Deep cover tries to get in. Will it land safely? It does. Now the run-out chance gone. Brilliant throw. Brilliant throw in the deep. Louis, he had 1.5 stumps to aim at from about 60 yards away, and he found it. It's the Shamar Joseph celebration that we saw at the Gabba, but for a bit of fielding. Brilliant.
And he's run all the way down to his brother Jeremiah down there and said, "You saw my shoulder, you saw my arm." He left nothing in the tank with this throw. Look at him, size it up, aim, and fire. And Bashir not even in the photo, and then he goes all the way down to his boundary and he spots his brother down there. Yep, there he sees him. Brilliant.
Well, there's not been that many moments to smile about for this West Indies side, but that was one. And here he comes, possibly, probably, for his final innings in Test match cricket. One of England's finest bowlers arrives at the crease with bat in hand to a standing ovation. Some great moments there in those last 2 minutes. A young lad on debut hit a ball out the ground for 6. Carl Lewis found the stumps at the non-striker's end and went off on a celebration. And one of England's finest arrived at the crease, possibly for the last time with bat in hand, to a standing ovation, greeted by handshakes from the West Indian team. Won't be on strike. The reason they ran 2 was that Smith wanted to be back on strike. I think I saw Seales pointing. Here, look, he's saying, throw that end. But Louis said, no, leave it to me.
Never trust a fast bowler. I like this one. This is where he goes. I think he first one of his colleagues, and then he points to his brother and runs to him.
That gets through. There were 2 of them out there, and it has gone through for 4. Not quite timed. It was a bit of a hack of the toe end of the bat, but he'll take it.
He's dragged it from outside the off stump. So the other thing to notice is that Seales has changed his length since the first ball of the over went for 6. So now he has 2 deliveries to try to either keep Smith quiet, dismiss him, or certainly keep him down at the striker's end.
Back up Jimmy will be the message. The Surrey lad on debut. 2 balls. So now you might try and hide the ball. You might try and sneak one down the leg side or a bouncer and keep Anderson on strike.
Or will he use a short ball? Really short one.
Well, if he goes short, I think Smith will be backing away and trying to go over the offside, possibly. And followed him, and he's just picked it up to that man out there. And I think it's carried all the way. It has. That is an excellent catch. Two really good bits of fielding in the end there. First from Louis to get the run out, then from Mackenzie to take the catch, and Smith's excellent innings and England's innings comes to an end.
Good knock. Nice glimpse into the future of Smith, but good catching there and good use of the hard length of the short ball from Jayden Seales, who's been the outstanding bowler for the West Indies. They continued persisting, trying their best, the West Indies, but well done to England and well done to Smith.